What's going on, guys? Mike Ashworth back again, and today is an exciting day for me because it is the maiden voyage of the 2019 Hobie Outback. I'm about to launch that, throw it in the water, paddle around, test it out, do some fishing, see what we can get on. But really, the most important thing for me is to test out this because I've never really been on a kayak, especially a pedal drive kayak. And I'm really excited to see what it's all about. Everyone that I've talked to says it's a lot of fun. So let's get to it. All right, so putting the kayak in the water today, and I've got a friend of mine who's he was a subscriber, and we met through my channel, and he is a experienced kayak fisherman as well as a Hobie kayak owner, and he invited me along. Sorry, the mosquitoes are just awful today. It's gonna be rough out there. Good thing I brought bug spray. Anyway. He's coming along. He's going to show me a little bit about the kayak. He messaged me on YouTube discussing the kayak, giving me some advice and things like that. And so he invited me along today, which is great because I get to go out with somebody that, one, knows the Hobie drive system, knows Hobie kayaks, but also is experienced in kayak fishing. So I'm glad that he brought me along. His name is Scott. He should be here any minute. We're going to throw the kayaks in the water and we're going to get going. So anyway, stay tuned. All right, we are moving. I'm really surprised at how quick this is and how easy it is. Mosquitoes are awful today, so there's that. But can't complain too much. I'm out on the water, having a good time. Oh. Well, I gotta say, one of the most difficult things here is to be casting, steering, pedaling, fishing all at once. There's a lot of multitasking that has to go on with kayak fishing that I never thought about. So, but I will say this is a blast. I'm having a great time. This is different from anything I've done before. So this is just amazing. But it is a little tricky, and I think the first few trips here for me are really going to be figuring out how I kind of like everything set up and just finding my way of doing things. But man, this is fun. I really enjoy it. So we're gonna keep on fishing. We made our way through the channel here for a little bit, and we're gonna keep on going. Got a few bites. Caught a little rat red, but that was that's about it so far. Got into a little bit of rain, so I had to shut the old cameras down for a minute. But anyway, we are going to continue on. I was trying to get those, but he's a little guy. He was that little, yeah. Well, caught this little guy, a little baby rat red. Not bad. Got him on color X. Starting to be my new favorite color, but for now we're gonna let that guy go. Well, we had to cut the trip short, came back in a little bit early because the weather went from 9-mile-an-hour winds to 17-mile-an-hour winds with rain in about 20 minutes. So we came back in because the weather got a little bit rough. Now I will say the Hobie Outback did fine in the wind. I had no problems with it at all. Even with 17-mile-an-hour headwinds, I was still moving through the water. Now I wasn't going fast, but it didn't really cause a problem. The only time that it really affected me at all is when I stopped and it would start to shift the kayak one way or another. But as long as I kept pedaling, even the turning, the rudder, I had no problems with the wind. But rather than making you watch video of that with horrible wind noise in the background, I figured I would come back. I'd show you a brief clip of what that looked like with those rains, and then like I said, we had no issues out there with those crazy wind, crazy rain, but it made fishing really awful. If you've ever casted into winds that high, you know that it's just a disaster all the way around. So we decided to cut it short. But I'm glad that those winds came, because it allowed me to really test this kayak for its capabilities, and I know that it can handle strong winds. I was never worried at all. It operated just fine. So I'm back here at the house now, and I figured that I would at least go over, in my opinion, what as an amateur to kayak fishing, what I really liked about this. I know that there's a lot of people out there that do review videos and things like that, but many of them are they're pros at this. They're very experienced, and so when they explain that they really like this about a kayak, as an amateur that has never really been on a kayak, I don't know why that's a good thing. So from an amateur's point of view, I wanted to show you what I like about this kayak, and we'll go from there. Again, here is the 2019 Hobie Kayak. It was wonderful. So the one thing that I really like, and I didn't know why I would need this, and I know that a lot of other kayaks don't come with this option, is that it has steering on both sides here. When you are reeling in a fish, depending on if the fish moves one way or another, sometimes you have to steer while you're fighting that fish in, and so it's really nice to be able to switch hands and make those turns, actually go with the fish and fight that way, rather than having to keep your rod in one hand and really, you know, reach across yourself to try to make those turns. So that is really nice. I didn't really think that I would need that, but I mean, even with the 2 fish that I caught today, it was really nice to have that. And I would imagine as the fish got bigger, that is even more important. So I really like this. Now this drive, the Mirage drive, this has the turbo fins, I think all 2019s too. I really like it. I like that I can get super shallow. Now I know on a lot of other kayaks, if you get really shallow, you have to take the entire drive system out, or lift it up. This, I just pedal one way or the other, and these paddles will come up and they will flatten out on the bottom of the kayak, which allows me to get really shallow without having to pull out my drive. Even in those situations where I couldn't use it anymore, I could get those to flatten out on the bottom of the kayak, pull out my paddle, and still keep on going. And even in really shallow water, you can do what, you know, we were calling flutter kicking, which is just, you know, you're barely moving it, but it actually still moves the kayak really well. So I had no problems there either. This seat, there's quite a few different positions on the seat, and you kind of change those using this here. But you've got to figure out what works for you. I will say that after about 30 minutes on it, and I was sitting way too high, it was actually pretty uncomfortable. So I had to make some adjustments. But when I finally figured out exactly how I liked it, I really liked this seat. It was really comfortable, but those adjustments are needed. Storage area is great. I love this track system because I can mount my cameras and things on it. I love these because I connected my fish grips and my pliers to them. I don't have to worry about them falling into the water. The dual cup holders is awesome. I don't know why you would need 2 drinks at once. However, I used one for my drink, and then I used the other one. I would put lures and other things inside that. However, you also have this storage here, which is where I kept a lot of my lures and my jig heads and things like that I was going to use constantly, so that I didn't have to turn around and go into my crate and go into my tackle to get those. That was really nice. But that was great. This here, which is, you know, your dry storage, I keep a waterproof box inside there so that I can put my phone and my wallet and things like this. However, this, even when I got water over the side of the kayak, stayed completely dry. So I think this is actually waterproof. Seems like it anyway. So that was really nice. So another thing that I was a huge fan of is how big this storage area is here. I was able to put my crate in here. I had a small Yeti soft cooler in here, and I had plenty of space for other things back here that I could add more tackle. I could do whatever. I had plenty of space, and in fact, I don't think I would even need this. And this back here, while this is really nice, I didn't really use it for anything. I don't really have a use for that. Maybe I will in the future. Maybe, I'll figure out something to slide in here. And like I said, as I go on more trips, I will figure out what I like and what I don't like, and the proper way to set this thing up for me fishing. And I know that it's going to take a few trips to really get that in there and figure out exactly what I want. But overall, I really, really like this kayak. Now I don't have a lot of experience with others, but for me, this is absolutely perfect. I loved everything about it. I will say this thing is really, really heavy. And so when I first got it home, pulling it out of the truck by myself and then putting it here in the garage, that was rough. Now, luckily I went out with someone yesterday, and so we were able to work as a team to get each other's kayaks out and put them in the water. But doing that alone, and I know that I'm going to end up doing quite a few solo trips on this, that would be a nightmare. So I do think that I'm going to get some type of cart system. I know that they sell a few. I may make them because they're ridiculous in price. I mean, they're a few $100s just for some PVC pipe and some wheels. So I'll probably make those. Maybe I'll make a video on how I do that. I'm going to look into it. But they attach, they allow you to roll and make that a lot easier. But I don't really have anything negative to say about this, but I've only taken it out once. And again, I'm not a huge experienced kayak fisherman yet. Maybe I'll review this thing again after 10 or 12 trips. But for right now, I really like it. I love it. I had a blast. I didn't realize how much fun I could have on this. I knew, from other people telling me that it is so much fun to fish from a kayak, but I'd never done it, and I will say it is so much fun. I'm definitely going to be doing this a lot. So anyway, that is my thoughts on the 2019 Hobie Outback. If you plan on getting one, if you've looked into them, I highly suggest it. So anyway, there it is. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. I definitely appreciate it. You'll definitely see me on this kayak in the future very, very soon. I plan on taking it out pretty often. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that you know when I drop a video, and we'll see you next time.